Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad that we found each other. My name is Pastor Tamara Lynn, and I am the author of a book called A Christian's Guide to Hypnotherapy. I'm going to walk you through chapter by chapter the concepts from the book and provide some commentary as we go along. So the first chapter is Chapter 1. I love God with all my heart, but that abundant life thing seems to be a fairy tale. Okay. Perfection. Do you ever have moments of time where everything is pure perfection? You have your loved ones gathered around you, or you are completely alone, and you do something that makes your heart rejoice and your mind unclutter. You sit back for a moment and thank your Creator for knowing you so perfectly and for being so gracious in orchestrating the moment just for you. His love and concern for you overwhelm you, and your gratitude lifts to Him as the greatest worship His creation can express. Now, a side note, if you haven't had an experience like that, and you can't even imagine what it would be like to have that perfect moment or to be full of joy, please know that that is perfectly acceptable. When I first started this journey, I couldn't even imagine what it was like to be happy. The closest thing I came to was picturing heaven, where there was no more suffering, no more tears, no more pain. I couldn't imagine anything on this earth that even could resemble joy or happiness. So instead of a perfection or a perfect place, or what I like to call the happiest of happies, I created a safe place, and my safe place was a concrete room underground, where even the only furniture in there was a concrete bench. So that was my starting point. So if you can't come up with a perfect image, that's fine. Okay, we will start where you're at. So what I'd like right now is, if you can come up with that perfect place, or if you can't, either way, please get something to write with and pause me until you have something. Okay, so I'm assuming you did, that you found something to write on, and I would like for you to answer some questions. Okay, so after each question, pause, respond, take as much time as you need, and then just start me up again. Okay, what would that moment be like for you? Now, if it was like for me in the concrete room, or if you can imagine this time of just pure joy and pure perfection, it can be a time you actually had and a memory, or something that you've heard of that just seems like perfection to you. And keep in mind, again, I call it the happiest of happies. So wherever you're at right now, what would that look like for you? And if you can't even associate anything with happiness, then think of a favorite color or a smell or a taste, just something that you can connect with that brings that little smile to your soul. Okay, so what would that be like for you? Pause me and take a few minutes to journal. As you're journaling, think about what sounds would you hear? What would you smell? What would you see, feel, and touch? Who would be there? Would the moment take place inside or outside? Describe the moment and location in as much detail as possible. Now, these special moments may only occur on rare occasions, but our soul cries out for more of these special times that connect us with our innermost soul and our Creator. We savor each one and are so deeply affected by them whenever they do occur. But the reality for many of us is a feeling of disconnect. Disconnect from our heart and soul, the true desires of our heart and soul, the things that we crave, the reality of what consumes our daily existence. This disconnect is so prevalent that we don't even think about the promises of a peace that surpasses understanding, or unspeakable joy, or an abundant life that God gave us through his Son, Jesus Christ. We hear songs at church or on the radio about God's promises, or our pastor speaks about them from the pulpit. However, when we are reminded, we just feel that something is wrong with us. We feel as if we are failing at our career or in our family or just in life in general. We feel as if we aren't doing something that we should be doing, or that we don't deserve to experience those things consistently throughout our lives. Perhaps we even think that those promises weren't meant for us in this current age. Most people accept this disconnect between what the Word tells us and what we experience on a daily basis. They adapt and survive in the worldly mode of existence. Not you, though. You want more. Even though other people may envy your life or tell you that you are doing exactly what you were created to be doing, you're always search for so much more. You want to be closer to God. You want to serve him in more meaningful ways. You want to truly make a difference in others' lives and know that what you do matters to God. You want everything that God has for you. Additionally, you want to experience a deeper intimacy with Christ. You want to impact the world around you more fully. You also want to believe that you were created to have more than just a mediocre life. But you don't know how to go any deeper or do any more. You may have even cried out, if you're anything like me, God, change my heart or change my circumstances. But it doesn't seem that God does that either. So you're constantly searching for what you can do to bring your life into alignment, and alignment between your heart and your circumstances. Again, I'd like you to take a moment to journal. I want to ask you some questions. And please pause again, think about these things, and then start me back up. So I'd like you to take some time to reflect on these questions. What is your current reality? How do people see you and your life? You may even need to ask some people what they think. How do you see yourself? Do you feel a disconnect between your desires and your reality? How would you define an abundant life for yourself? God created us with this incredibly complicated organ, the human brain. When we feel this disconnect, it is actually an alignment that is missing in the different levels of our mind. Research has been able to identify 3 levels of awareness that occur in our mind: the conscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious. The conscious level of our mind is where we logically interact with our environment. It is also where we decide how we are going to act and react to the situations we face. The subconscious level of our mind directs the physiological functions of our body and stores all of our past memories and experiences. The subconscious mind often influences our conscious mind and can create physical connections to emotional stimuli. The superconscious level of our mind is where we connect with influences outside of our own existence. This part of our mind is where our faith and belief systems are related to the collective past, present, and future. When any of these levels of consciousness are not in alignment with the others, we feel that internal disconnect between our thoughts and feelings and our daily reality. Hypnosis is a powerful tool in bringing an alignment to all 3 levels of your mind. As I guide you through this journey of discovering hypnosis, you will be able to lay your fears to rest. As we work together, your fear that hypnosis will go against your beliefs or in some way will separate you from God will go away, as will your fear of constantly living with a heaviness that reminds you that you haven't been able to find your breakthrough. You know that fear of continuously doing the things that you think you should do, or what you've been told you should do, that leaves you feeling inadequate, or the fear of not doing what God created you to do. These fears will be alleviated as you read this book. And so will the fear that this is all there is to life. Through this journey, you will confidently move forward into the life God created you for, your abundant life. This life may look completely different from the one you currently live, or it may look exactly the same, but feel completely different. Again, I'd like for you to take a moment to journal. I want for you to think about these things, and I'm going to give you some scripture verses that I'd like for you to look into, to read, to really think about and pray about and meditate on. And so what I want you to do is think about, what do you hope to achieve by reading this book, or in this case, watching these videos? How would you describe the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the superconscious mind? What is the greatest disconnect you can identify in your life? Which levels of your mind do you think are out of alignment and cause that disconnect? Okay, here are the verses. The peace that passes understanding. Philippians 4:7 and John 14:26 through 27. Unspeakable joy. John 15:11 and 1 Peter 1:8. An abundant life. John 10:10. Please enjoy the time in these scriptures and get ready for chapter 2.